Okay. Well, welcome everybody who's online with us this morning, and thanks for attending today's training. And this is on the Canvas orientation. Today's session, along with other training sessions this week, are going to be recorded, and you'll have the option to view it again later. Due to the large number of participants, which may be in the session, the moderator, or that's me, your microphones have been muted, and if you have a question, please use the chat feature located at the bottom of the screen to send your questions. And we'll compile the questions, and the presenter will answer those at the end of the session. Or Laura Widener is also on with us. She's an instructional designer. She may also be answering your questions as you post them on the chat session. I want to start today's session by sharing some information that we're including in all the training sessions. If you're brand new to remote online teaching, we recommend that you visit and explore the resources on the K-State Keep Teaching website at ksu.edu/keepteaching. The prepping and planning page has a checklist of steps to get you started. The home page of the website also includes getting started checklists for students and faculty, and I'm going to provide that link in the chat box right now. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that in. Okay, let's see here. Okay, and I want to make this, Laura, I've got this on a, maybe you can, well, I will try to post this. Let's see this again. There we go. And Laura, I think I've got this on. See everyone, there we go. How's that? There it is right there. Okay. As we rapidly transition our classes using various remote teaching options, we want to encourage you to keep things as simple as possible. This session is going to focus on practical steps that you could implement right away. If you have additional questions after today's session, please send them to gcid@k-state.edu. And this email address is being monitored by the Global Campus Instructional Design Team, and all inquiries will be responded to as quickly as possible. You may also contact the IT Help Desk by phone at 785-532-7722 or via email at helpdesk@ksu.edu. And I'm going to share this information in the chat box also in a minute. So please check out the K-State Keep Teaching Success Sessions page to see if there are other sessions that can provide helpful information as you transition to remote teaching. I'm going to provide another link in the chat box, which is the Keep Teaching link. And again, due to the large number of participants, which may be in this session, your microphone is muted. And if you have a question, please use the chat feature located at the bottom of the screen to send your questions. We'll compile the questions, and the presenter will answer those questions at the end of the session. So Trina, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, like Julie said, I'm Trina McCarty. I'm an instructional designer at Global Campus. My personal EID is Trina, T-R-I-N-A. So it'd be trina@ksu.edu. Although, as Julie said, the gcid@ksu.edu is probably the best way to reach me. Since Laura and I will both be responding to that, it will be a better way so that we have backup for each other. So today I want to cover some real basic things, just some assumptions that we're going to keep it really simple. We're not striving for perfection here. We're talking about remote teaching in a week from now. So we want to make sure that students have what they need and that instructors have what they need. So we're going to go over creating a very simple, well-organized course. And then all the other pieces, then you probably noted on your schedule of training that there's a lot of those tools within Canvas that they will talk about in more detail later. So again, back to those assumptions, I'm assuming that if you're here in this basic training that you've probably not taught a fully online course before, or you're here to get some tips to help other people that you are helping. So I'm going to go ahead now and share my screen. Okay, so when you come into Canvas, you'll see a screen that looks somewhat like this for your dashboard. And on the left-hand side, you'll notice that there's an area in gray or a light purple over here on the side, and everyone's will look similar. Mine is a little bit different since I have different access, but you'll have your account, dashboard, courses. Right now, it will likely open to your dashboard. If you're not there, you can open that. One thing I do want to note in this left-hand navigation for all of Canvas is if you scroll down at the bottom, there is a help function. This is your friend, so if you click on that help, you will find especially this search the Canvas guides very helpful. If you go there, you can, whatever your question is, it'll say, what are you looking for? And you can type that. Maybe you're interested in discussion, and you can see all the topics there. So that is a great tool. Just make sure you remember that the help is there, and that is Canvas help, not our internal help desk, but those are also linked here. So K-State specific resources are linked there. I'm going to go ahead and close that for now. And back on your dashboard. So every term, your courses are created. There is a course shell created for your course. The only exception to that is if you have a 900 or higher level course. On those, you do have to ask the help desk to create those if you want a course shell. Otherwise, your course shell will most likely be in your dashboard already. If you are not seeing your course in the dashboard, you can also go over to Courses on the left-hand side, click on that, scroll down to the bottom, and go to All Courses. And then you'll have quite a long list. Mine's longer than some. Whoops, I don't know what I did there. Clicked something. Let me go back, sorry about that. Okay, so on courses, if you get your list and go to all courses, to favorite it or put it in your dashboard, what you'll want to do is choose the star next to it and highlight that star, and then it should show up on your dashboard when you go back out. In the interest of time, if you're having trouble with this, I can talk to you afterwards, or you could use the chat, or you can contact the help desk directly to find your course if it's not available there for you. One more thing while we are out in this main area on the left, we haven't gone into the course yet. I want to talk about communication overall. Right now is a scary time for faculty and students, and the students are really going to want as much communication as possible. So I'm going to talk about a few ways to get that communication to your students and to yourself. So up at the left-hand side, you may or may not have a picture here. It may just be blank if you have not chosen a profile picture, but you should have an account button. And under account, one of the first things there is notifications. When you go to notifications, your students also have this same similar screen. You'll see all these notification preferences where you can be notified right away. You can be sent a daily summary, a weekly summary, or you're not notified at all. So, and there's a long list of things that you can choose that for. I want to make sure you're aware of that. So if you are not getting notifications for a particular action in Canvas, I want you to know right up front where that is. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the dashboard. And I'm going to pretend that I have a course shell out there. So if you have never been in your Canvas course this semester, then you open it, it will likely look something like this. It will be completely blank. If you are working from a blank course, you have a couple of choices. First, you might have a course that you've taught previously. Maybe a colleague has provided access to the same course, different section of the same course, and given you permission to use that information or that content. Either way, if you have that type of a situation where you want to import content from an existing or a past Canvas course, then I'm going to go ahead and take you through those steps first. So if you slide down, now we talked about the left-hand navigation in the gray or purple bar, but then each course has its own left navigation, and that's what we're going to be talking about now. So if you scroll down and go to the bottom where it says Settings, you can go ahead and click there. And then you're going to have right navigation also. And in your right navigation, there's a choice to import course content. Now the content type, you're going to be copying from a Canvas course. So copy a Canvas course is your first choice. And then you can search for that course. Now to search, you can use a variety of things. You can use the course number, you can use the class number, like the 5-digit code. You can even use this term. So if you know you're wanting to copy over, for example, from spring 2019 into a 2020, then you can use that. If you're teaching a course with English in the title, then you can look up by title. So it should be fairly easy to find the course that you're looking for. The next thing you're going to have to choose then, so I'm going to have to choose something here. Let's see. Okay. The next choice is going to be all content or selecting specific content. So if you have not done any work on your course and it is completely blank, you sure can bring an entire course in and choose all content. However, if you have anything that you've pulled in, you do risk overwriting. So if that's the case, you'll want to select specific content. Also on the adjust events and due dates, if you choose that, we would suggest that you go ahead and remove dates. It gets a little difficult shifting dates and you might miss something. So if you remove dates, then you'll have to go back and manually add them. But then at least you won't have things that aren't available because the due date passed a year ago or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and choose import. And then I'm going to go to select content. And you can see that you can choose all types of things. You can choose down to an individual module, quiz, assignment. Now, if I'm talking about tools that you're not familiar with, don't worry about that at this point, but just know that you can grab an entire thing or you can use these arrows to open them up. And I'm going to choose this Getting Started module. I'm just going to bring one thing into my course. I'm going to go ahead and select that content. And it's going to queue it. It'll take just a while for it to come in, but it will eventually be there. Okay. One more thing. I'm going to go, so now it says it's completed. So I'm going to go back out to my home screen. And you can see that I have imported an entire module into here. It did bring everything because I chose that Getting Started module. It brought the entire module in. And you can see here, the next thing I'd like to talk about is publishing and unpublishing. So on your home page, over here on the right, under course status, it shows unpublished right now. That's in red. The publish button is on the right, and once you choose it, it shows up in a green, so it's very obvious that it's published. I will tell you that since we are midway through the semester, as soon as you choose to publish your course, it is published to your students. So if you're not quite ready, you don't want to do that, but I do want to make you aware that until you publish that, the students can't see anything. So definitely want to note that publish button. The same thing with modules. Right now, we'll go over this in more detail later, but right now you can see Getting Started has the green check mark next to it, as well as several of the things underneath it. If I choose to unpublish this module, the entire thing is unpublished, everything underneath that. So this gray or this bar here that's shaded controls everything underneath it. In order to get the student view, I'd like to show you this again on the right. You will have a student view tab. If you don't see it for some reason, you can go back to settings and then go to student view. But your student view is there to help you. If you click on that right now, then you're going to see there's nothing available to students. Now I'm going to leave the student view. I'm going to go back and publish this. Now if I go to student view, they can see that module. I'm going to leave again. So I hope that's clear that this, when you create a module or a heading area, then that controls all the information under it. Okay, so I'm going to go back. We talked about communication and we talked about setting the notifications. Another way to get a hold of your students right away, since this is something I'm sure you'll want to be getting to this week, is over in the left-hand navigation again, you have an inbox. An inbox is very similar to email. It is like Canvas email. So you will see here at the top you have all courses. Under your favorite courses, you will see the things on your dashboard. So your course will likely be here now since we've got it on your dashboard. You can choose one of those. I'm going to choose something that I have students in. And then this is similar to email again, where you have an inbox, you have a sent folder, that type of thing, unread. I'm going to go ahead and compose a new message. When you compose a new message, again, you can choose your course right there too. You don't have to choose it ahead of time. Also, if you want to select specific people, then you can go to the to. You can choose all. You can choose other teachers to email, or you can choose your students. I'm not going to go into this right now, but you can also choose groups of students if you have student groups set up. Similar to email, you'll want to put a subject line in, and you can write your text in this area. You can also, in the bottom left, you see a place to add an attachment, which will open up your browser or your file explorer, excuse me. There's also a way that you can, the next button over here with the play button allows you to record an audio or video comment right into your email. So that's a way you can get a hold of your students right away. We hope you'll take advantage of that. Now I'm going to go, sorry I'm kind of jumping around, but I'm still on the topic of communication. I'm going to go back into that course shell and talk about one other way to communicate with your students is through announcements. So right now we don't have any announcements set up. In order to do that, Canvas likes the plus signs. So you're going to see this plus. And again, you're going to have a topic. So I'm not sure where we are right now. Would this be week 8 maybe? Welcome to week 8. And maybe in here you're going to put things we will do this week are, and you might have, it also offers spell checker. So about everything in Canvas is going to look similar to this. When you go to edit or add things, you're going to have this rich content editor. So you can see we have the ability to do things like bold, italicize, underline. We can also put a heading in here, Maybe we have readings, and we want that to be a header. It should be under things we do, but you know what I'm getting at here. So maybe we have readings, maybe we have a discussion, maybe we have an assignment, things like that. And so those things underneath you can put into header groups. So this is very similar to the type of editing feature that you can see in Word. Again, you can also attach. One option I really love with this announcements is that you can delay postings. So maybe like in this example, I'm saying welcome to week 8. Maybe you want to welcome them to week 9 and 10 and 11 as well. So you can go ahead and delay the posting, and maybe this is week 9 or 10. So maybe I want to delay it and I want it to go out on Monday morning, March 30th at 8 a.m. So we can choose it down to the minute of when we want that to go out. I'm going to go ahead and skip over the enable podcast feed and allow liking, since these things will be covered in more specific areas. Again, I'm just giving you a quick overview. So the next thing I'm going to want to go over is syllabus. Since I feel that most of you, that is one thing that you already have in your toolbox right now. So in your syllabus, or if you have a syllabus, there are three options for your, three main options for your syllabus. One is that Canvas goes ahead and gives you a tool called Course Syllabus. In this, you can go ahead and edit, and again, you have that rich content editor. You can go ahead and start typing in there, or most of you have a syllabus already and you can copy and paste. That is a little bit tricky sometimes to copy and paste into Word. You might have to do some reformatting. The positive thing, the pro about this particular tool in Canvas is under this course summary section at the bottom, it will automatically pull in any items with due dates. So if you have assignments, discussion boards, things with due dates, it will pull them into the bottom of your syllabus. Otherwise, the syllabus functions basically just as another page in Canvas. Another option is to just go ahead and upload your syllabus as into a module. And here you can see I've already done that. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this again. The way you would do that as a file, if you already have, like, say, a Word file out on your computer. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. So next to getting started, this is the module I want to put it in. Again, I'm going to use that plus sign. And I'm going to add a file. This is a new file. And I'm going to choose a file. So I'm going to go out. This again opens your File Explorer, and you're going to go into your files and find your syllabus. Open it. You do have a choice of different folders, and that will be covered later. Indentation, you can pull this over just like it sounds, just like an outline where it would pull over 1, 2, or 3 to the right. I'm going to go ahead and pull this over a couple levels, and I'm going to go ahead and add that item. So now at the bottom of my getting started, you can see that I have this course syllabus document here. I can go ahead and drop and drag this where I want it to. Maybe right after meet the instructor, I'm going to put it there. Okay, so that is one way to do it as a file. Another way to do it is to just go to Pages. And this isn't just for syllabus, but in general, you can always create a new page. Again, very much like the syllabus tab, except it will not have your assignments listed at the bottom. So you can title it what you want to title it. and you can start typing or copying and pasting from another document. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cancel there. I feel like I haven't heard from anybody, so I'm going to check in. Julie, are you there?
Trina, we've had a few questions, but they aren't necessarily related directly to what you're talking about. So I'm trying to address them in the chat
Perfect.
to help out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. So we're going to keep going. We're halfway to our timeline, unfortunately. So I knew this was going to be awfully fast to try to cover everything. So I appreciate your patience as I just keep going on along. The next thing I'm going to talk about then is a discussion and setting up a discussion. I believe Laura is the one that will be doing this later on in the week. Again, on all of these items, discussions, assignment, quizzes, things that I'm going to be covering in just touching on, those will be covered in a lot more depth. And I would definitely suggest that you go back to the remote teaching training schedule and find those after this session and plug those into your calendar. So I'm going to pretend like I don't have any discussions. I'm going to choose to add a brand new discussion. Again, you've got this plus sign for everything you want to add. We're going to go over to the right here and choose add discussion. Okay, and we're going to have a topic title. Well, it's at the top of everybody's mind, so we're gonna talk about the coronavirus, and we're just going to say, how has this impacted you? And that's going to be our prompt for this discussion. Again, you can post to all sections. This one only has one section, but you could choose if you had multiples. You can add an attachment if you would like. Maybe you have a discussion and you want to have them talk about how they feel about an article. You'll probably give them the article in an additional place to this, but you can also attach it here. And then there's going to be some options. The first option I would suggest you utilize is the allow threaded replies. A lot of you have probably seen discussions where there's a main topic and then you'll see threaded or replies within that topic underneath. That's very helpful for organization. If you have a discussion which is graded, and that is an option here, then I would highly suggest in most cases that you use users must post before seeing replies. That way the student comes and only sees your prompt. They don't see their classmates' other posts, and they have to put together their own original thoughts, put those in first, and then once they do their post, once they enter their post, then they can see what their classmates have said. And again, I'm going to skip over the podcast feed and allow liking. I'll let Laura cover that in more detail later in hers. You can, if I did mark as graded up here, so since I marked graded, it's going to ask me how many points this is worth. You do have the choice. I think most people use points. You do have the choice of other options to display grade as. And I have just left this as assignment group assignments. I'm not going to go through peer review right now. I'm going to go ahead and put a due date on this. So this discussion, I'm going to say it's due Saturday before midnight. Okay. This is going to be available right away. So we'll go ahead and make it available now, today. If you want to make the due date and the until date the same, that is absolutely fine. That means it cuts the students off and they can no longer participate after that day. However, if you want to give them, maybe you want to give them an extra week or a couple days, then you can choose a day later, a later date, sorry. If you do that, it will still allow them to participate in that discussion, but it will mark late on the grade book, and that will show up in red. So, and then also, we talked about publishing before. If you are sure about what you've done, then you can go ahead and save and publish. Otherwise, you can just choose save, but I'm going to go ahead and save and publish. So this is going to show up right away. Okay, and you can see it again up here, publish and unpublish. Shows up in green and red. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my modules. I'm doing this to show you a couple different ways to do things. So in my getting started, I created that discussion outside of the modules in discussion. So now I'm going to click on my add. I'm going to add a discussion, and that coronavirus discussion is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and add that item into this module. Again, it's going to pop up at the bottom, but I can always bring it up where I want it. Again, that drag and drop feature, you want to be on those 6 or 8 dots over here to be able to drag it. Okay. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about is assignments. And rather going over here to assignments, I'm going to use this feature in the module. And I'm just going to add it right here. So I'm going to add an assignment. It's going to be a new assignment. The assignment name, I'm just going to say paper 1. And I'm going to add that item. Again, it's going to drop down to the bottom. It's not published yet. I'm going to drag that up here to the top so I can see it a little bit easier. Now there's nothing in that because I just created it. So I'm going to click on the link to take me to it. I'm going to go ahead and edit that. So I can see my topic or my title, but I don't have anything in here. So this is where I'm going to write a description. So I'm going to say for paper 1, I would like a 1,000 to 1,500 word paper on da-da-da. And you're going to give them all the information, the formatting, all the requirements, all your expectations for this assignment is going to go in that description. Again, if this is graded, you're going to allow for points. So I'm going to give them 20 points for this particular paper. Display as points again. Again, I'm not going into a lot of detail here because assignments will be covered, assignments and quizzes will be covered later. You again have due dates available down here. And the available from and until. Again, I'm going to go ahead and save and publish that. Now when I go back out to my module, paper 1 here is published and saved and available. Quizzes is very similar to assignments. Where you can go to quizzes or you can add within modules. This time I'm going to go back out to the quiz. And I'm going to add a new quiz. Again, here you have a place to name the quiz. You have a text area to provide instructions on the quiz. You have options for the quiz, shuffling answers, allowing multiple attempts, setting time limits, letting people see the correct answers, all of those things. There's a lot of options. Those will be covered in the quizzes and assignments training later this week or later today. not sure, I don't have my rubric right in front of me, but those are the details. Then the questions allow you to put in a variety of questions. So we've got multiple choice, true, false, essay questions, all of those things are here. And this is actually where you can construct your quizzes. So that was an extremely quick overview of some of the tools. One of the main things that I would really like to show is some organization, because that's more basic. So we're going to go back here to home, and you can see it's pulling up your modules as your home page. On the left-hand side, like when I told you to scroll down to settings, there's a lot of information over here on the left-hand navigation. Most of it is not necessary for your students. So I'm going to go ahead and have you slide back down to settings. And then there's several tabs here at the top: course details, sections, navigations, etc. Under navigation, this is where you can change the navigation for your students. Right now I've been putting a lot in modules. Modules is important. So I am going to choose to put modules right at the top because I want students to see that first. I have decided that I am going to use a file, an uploaded file, rather than use the syllabus tool in Canvas. So I'm going to disable this function by choosing the 3 and disabling. As soon as I disable that, then down here at the bottom, you'll see that the syllabus is down here in this second group at the bottom. And you can see the heading above it says drag items here to hide them from students. So, and the top section is drag and drop items to reorder them. So this top table is what students are going to see. The bottom table is what students will not see. Another way, rather than to click and disable each time, is you can simply click on the things that you want to hide from students. 3 of those things I would suggest right away is conferences, collaborations, and chat. We know of very few people on campus that use these, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag all 3 of these right off the list here. I'm going to disable those. Now, one thing you need to remember after doing this is to slide down and save at the bottom. Okay, now you will immediately see that this list, now collaborations, conferences, and syllabus, you will see they have an eyeball next to them that's crossed out. That eyeball crossed out means that students can no longer see those items. Another way for you to check on that is, again, over on the right-hand side, somewhere in your right-hand navigation, you should have a student view option. Click on that student view, and now you can see what the students see. So now they have access to home, modules, assignments, discussions, etc. One other hint, one other thing that I like to suggest, I'm going to go ahead and leave the student view. I'm going to go back into settings and back into navigation. One other thing that I suggest is, since in modules, we went ahead and put all of our discussions, files, and pages in our modules to organize. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and hide my files. I'm going to go ahead and hide my pages. I'm going to go ahead and hide my discussions. Again, I'm going to go down to the bottom and save. Going back to student view. And now you can see the left navigation is more clean and lean than it was before. Now students can still see pages, files, such as your syllabus, discussions, such as this Talk to Me or coronavirus discussions we created. They don't have to be here on the left-hand side. In fact, there might be some files, like some instructors have answer keys in files. So therefore, you would not want your students to have access to files on the left. You will want to put everything into modules. Modules, a lot of times people have different ways that they put modules together. One of the most common ways is week by week. Some instructors like unit by unit. There's different ways to organize that, but we do find that modules is one of the best ways to organize and keep everything together for students. The last thing I did not cover is videos and uploading those. Again, there are more advanced sessions, and I'm going to leave that to Brandon to go through that with you. And I'm going to go ahead and ask Laura or Julie what questions they're seeing out there and open it for Q&A and discussion now.
Laura is answering a lot of questions on the chat, and I don't see any that necessarily need to be addressed by the group. Do you, Laura?
No, I think I was able to handle a couple of questions about recording through Zoom and everything. And so we've directed people to the other trainings, which are going to be awesome and hopefully answer a lot of the other questions. One question was about when is this recording going to be available? We will put it up just as soon as possible. Once Trina is able to download it, we're able to then upload it to our YouTube channel. I'm sure it will be posted on the Keep Teaching website. So just keep your eye there for all of these trainings to be posted as soon as we're able to finish them up and get them ready. Nora has a question, go.
I can't unmute. I can't unmute. I can't unmute.
We can hear you.
You're unmuted.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. Sorry, I think it would be better if I just say it rather than try to write it. So part of the recommendations have been to create asynchronous methods, right? So basically record a lecture and make it available for students to see within their availability. Is there any way to connect? So I realize that the video making is elsewhere, but eventually that video would come as a link. Is there any way to streamline that into Canvas?
Yes, so similar to the file upload, you can choose when you do Zoom or other recordings outside of Canvas, then you can upload them as MP4s. Brandon will also talk about the option to upload those directly into MediaSite and use MediaSite within Canvas when he does his video presentation.
Okay, but there is a way to have links to all of the videos within Canvas, so it's a one-stop type deal.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Trina, do you want to show the symbols on the toolbar that would?
Yes. So, are you talking about in Pages?
Yeah, you could probably just do it on the Meet Your Instructor page.
Okay. All right, so when we talked earlier about the rich editor, I'm going to have to minimize that again. So when you go into a page and edit, this rich content editor here has a few choices for video and audio. So the first one on the left, you'll see next to tables, there's an insert, edit media. This is, for example, if you're using a YouTube video, then on YouTube, you can get the embed code and you can put a YouTube video embedded directly into a page. That's one way, is to use the insert edit media. Now, if you slide over on this bottom line, there's also a record upload media. And if you click on that, then you can start recording immediately, or you can just hit the start recording button here. You can use your microphone, webcam, or both. If you click on the Upload Media tab, again, you can select a file, of audio or a video file, and upload it right there, and it will bring it in. The third way is right next to that to the left. There is like a little caret or a little V that says More External Tools. If I click on More External Tools, then this is how you would embed a media site video, for example. Once you have a media site video available, then you can add existing media there. You can either add a presentation or a collection. Again, Brandon will talk about that in more detail later, but a collection might be an entire folder of videos while a presentation would be a single. Again, you have upload new media there as well. So there are multiple ways to pull in, there are multiple ways to pull in video. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And Nora, Brandon will go over this as well. One of the reasons that we are encouraging folks to use MediaSite is it has the capability to adjust to the student's bandwidth to make it easier for them to stream the videos. So if you have a rather large video, uploading it into MediaSite means then the students will be able to stream it from home on potentially lower internet accessibility, and it'll go a little bit more smoothly.
Okay, that helps. And this would be instead of Zoom? Because you know, you can deliver a lecture through Zoom and record it.
If you choose to use Zoom, you can still do so, but then you can upload Zoom to MediaSite if you would like.
Okay, okay, good to know. Thank you.
Any other questions out there that you feel would benefit the entire group? Or something I went through too quickly?
I just want to say that the media site orientation is at 10 o'clock right after this one. So
Perfect.
if you're thinking you're interested in that.
Can I ask another question, please?
Certainly.
I have this solved for me, but I think that this may be useful for others. So could you show how to link the inbox here in Canvas with the Outlook or whatever other email manager that we might be using, please?
Okay. So you're not exactly sure how to answer that one.
I think I can, Trina.
Go ahead.
So
go ahead.
essentially what you need to do, Nora, is make sure that you've got the account notifications set up so that they are going to your ksu.edu address, which it should by default because your Outlook address is the same as your EID. So if you set up your conversations to go to, so you can see here, added to conversations, conversation message, any of those, if you set those so that they have the check mark, then any email you receive in your inbox in Canvas should also go to your inbox in Outlook. Does that make sense?
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else we can help with this morning?
Someone asked about putting a YouTube link into your message, right? You can use the link or the URL, correct?
You can. I think we would suggest that you get the embed code. So when you go to YouTube and you want to share something, then it will give you an embed code. I don't know if you want me to pull that up or not, but I can go ahead and attempt to pull that up real quick here. think I actually, let's see. Okay, let me. So, let's see here. If you click on share, I did that kind of fast, sorry, but if you find a video in YouTube that you like and you click on the share feature, then you can embed, and it will give you code to embed, and you can simply copy and paste. So let me go back to a page and edit. So on this one, the insert, edit media, and embed. And then I can embed that code right there just by pasting it. And now that's what it will look like in your page.
Is that a cleaner way of doing it, or does it work better if you use the embed code?
It does. It makes it part of the page instead of having to link out. So if I go ahead and save this, it's going to appear just like this.
It's essentially just the difference between having them stay within the Canvas environment with the content, or they have to go to another web page, open up that browser, open up YouTube, and then get distracted by all the wonderful other things that are on the YouTube video channel, right? So you can use the copy just like Trina just grabbed and just put the link itself. That does work as well. But yep, but embedding the video just is a little bit cleaner.
Right, so I'm just doing it so you'll see both examples. So that's the embedded video at the top. The same video down here is linked, and you can see the difference in how it looks to the student online. And if I click on that, it will open, but it's just not quite as clean. Does that help? Like I said, there are a lot of options. There's not necessarily a right or a wrong way to do things, but you can play around with those and see what looks cleaner, what you like better. Sometimes there's almost too many options, so sometimes we like to give one option just so it's not as confusing. Looks like we have about 7 minutes left. Are there any other questions out there? Otherwise, I think I'll go ahead and ask Julie to close us up this morning. And we can make sure you're available for the 10 o'clock media site presentation that way.
Okay, very good. So thank you all for attending today's training, and I hope you found it helpful. Please remember that if you have additional questions after today's session, you can send them to gcid@k-state.edu. This email address is being monitored by the Global Campus Instructional Design Team, and all inquiries will be responded to as quickly as possible. You can also contact the IT Help Desk by phone, 785-532-7722, or via email at helpdesk@ksu.edu. I'm also going to share this information again in the chat box. Please also check out the K-State Keep Teaching Training Sessions page to see if there are other sessions that can provide helpful information as you transition to remote teaching. I'm going to provide that link again in the chat box too. So here we go.
All right, Julie, I think as soon as you get those into the chat box, then I will go ahead and stop the recording.
All right, I'm putting them in right now. Sorry, I'm.
Okay.
Okay. There's one. And here's the teaching one.
Trina, is the next training session going to be on the same link or on a different one?
It will not. It will be on Brandon's. We didn't want to go long and interfere, so
That's
it'll
fine.
be a new link.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for
Okay,
coming.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. I'll
Good.
stop the recording. Thank you all.
Thank you.